All right, today I'm going to teach you how to make this house key. It's not difficult, but we are going to do a couple of things that we haven't done before. We're going to use a section view. We're going to use our mirror tool, and we are not starting this sketch at our origin point as we have in the past. So here we go. First thing you're going to want to do is create a new part studio. And so your part studio should look like this. And we're going to click on the front panel of our view cube to spin it around and click on that front face. And we are going to start a sketch. I'm going to make my work planes invisible. And what I want to do is I want to grab my center point circle. And we're going to start a circle, but we're going to start it out here away from our origin point. And I'll show you why, or I'll explain why here in just a minute. All right, so we want to make sure we want to line it up with the origin point. We want it horizontal or equal to even with it, but we don't want it on it. Okay, so once you've done that, then we're going to, let's see, we'll dimension it. And usually the size of a key head is about 1 inch. So we'll say 1 inch, and then I'm going to zoom in here. And that looks good to me, okay? We just want to make sure that this origin point is inside the face of the circle right here, okay? We don't want it to be outside of the face of the circle. All right, so now grab your center point circle again, and we're going to come over here, even with that origin point over here, and we're going to put, we're going to put a little hole in our key to allow it to go onto a key ring. All right, so this one we'll say 0.125. And that is a good size for a keyhole. All right, so once we've done that, we are ready to start drawing our key. All right, so we're going to stay in sketch one. We're going to have a lot to do in sketch one. So we're going to grab our line tool and we're going to create our key. All right, so we're actually going to create a construction line. So LQ. And then I want to be even with this origin point, but I don't want to be on it. All right, so I'm going to start my line back here and I'm going to extend it. And we're going to go out here and let's see, how long do we think our key should be? Well, most keys are probably, we said the head was 1 inch. So we'll make this 1 3/4, so 1.75. All right, now we're going to grab our line tool, or we're still in our line tool. So hit the letter Q, and that's going to take it out of the construction line, which is what we want. And on this one, we're just going to draw a line backwards, kind of an angled line. Now, I'm not going to give you a specific angle here. You can make this angle whatever you want it to be. Just remember, you do need to be big enough up here that we can cut some teeth into this thing. Okay, so bring it back here and click, and then we're going to draw our line horizontally all the way back to the face of our key. And we're going to click. And then I'm going to hit escape. Now we're going to use the mirror tool. Mirror tool looks like this. If it's not in your toolbar, and it should be, you can actually come over here and type mirror, and it should select it. All right, so the very first thing I want you to see is it says select a mirror line. That's going to be our construction line. So we're going to click that. And now it says select what we want to be mirrored. Select entities to be mirrored. So I'm going to choose this and this, and bam, I am done with my mirror tool. So I can hit escape, and now it's time to start cutting we're going to go ahead and cut some teeth into our key. So I'm going to grab my line tool. I'm going to come to this corner here, and actually I'm going to come a little bit back. Nah, that's good. So I'll come a little bit back starting here and cut down. The only thing I want you to avoid, do not take your teeth all the way to that center line or that construction line. Keep it above that construction line, okay, the teeth of your key. And you can make this pattern whatever you want it to be, okay? All right. And then finally, I'm going to, that's mine. All right. So then I'm going to trim it up. I'm going to grab my trim tool and I'm going to trim off the material in between my teeth. So that's going to be the shape of my key. Once you get the shape of your key the way that you want it, throw it into isometric mode, hit Shift E to extrude. It's going to go one direction. We're actually going to, let's go ahead and make it symmetric. And 0.125 inches, quarter of an inch, or excuse me, an eighth of an inch is what that is. We're going to hit that green checkbox, and you have the beginnings of a key. That works really well. Now, here's the thing. What you need to understand about a key is if you look at a key, it's got these grooves in the side. And what those do is that allows the key to actually go into the lock. Okay? So we need to put some grooves on our key so that we can actually insert it into the face of the lock. All right, so here's how we're going to do this. We are going to look at our work planes here, and we need to find the work plane, and it should be the right plane. And what the right plane does is it bisects our part. That's what we want right there. All right. So we're going to click on that right panel, and then I want you to click on the front face of your view cube so that you can see your right panel highlighted there. And then we are going to use a tool called offset work, or we're going to use a tool called plane. And so you're going to click on the plane up here. If you can't find it, come over here and type plane, and you'll get to the same thing. All right, so our plane tool, whoops, hang on. Let me go back out of this. I accidentally did something wrong. All right, so let me get rid of that. All right, so we've got our right plane selected. Okay, so you got your right work plane selected. You're in your front view, so you have that view right there. You're going to click the plane button, and it's going to offset it. And it says, how far do you want to offset it? Okay, what we're doing is we're giving ourselves a work plane that is in a different spot than our original plane. All right, so my computer's kind of lagging here on me. What I want you to do is zoom in here, and we want to try to get this work plane to where it is even with this corner right here. And I believe on mine at least, it's going to be 0.04. Nope, it's a little bit, so 0.03. You can play with it. Once you've got that pretty much lined up, you're good to go, and you can hit that green checkbox. At which point now, if you hit that isometric mode, we have plane 1, okay, and plane 1 shows up here. That's what we want. So we're going to click on the right face of our view cube. We're going to click on plane 1 so that we are straight on, and we're going to zoom in here, and I want you to right click, and you are going to click section view. And what it does is it cuts your key in half. In other words, it shows you the section where that plane bisects your part, and that's what we want. So, all right, so now we're in the section view. We're going to click on plane 1. We're going to start a sketch on plane 1, and we're going to zoom in here. And what we're going to do is we want to make sure that everything we do is below this origin point. Okay, so I'm going to draw a construction line right here so that I can see that's my safety line. Okay, I do not want anything to be above that safety line. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my corner rectangle, and I'm going to go anywhere below this line, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle, and we're going to cut into our key. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, let's draw another construction line. And this construction line is going to go vertical. Okay, this is going to serve two purposes, and I'll show you what those are. Oop, I didn't hit the Q. So LQ, make sure you make that a construction line. Now, let's grab our corner rectangle, and we're going to click out here, making sure that my rectangle is below my upper line, and we want to stay to the side of that center line. I can go all the way, almost all the way to it, but I don't want to go all the way to it. And then you guys can decide how big your rectangles are going to be. I'm drawing 2. All right. And that's going to be mine. Okay. Once you've done that, we're going to use that mirror tool again because your lines are actually on both sides of your key. So we're going to grab this center line right here. That's going to be our mirror line. And then we are going to select the 4 sides of, there we go, the 4 sides of our rectangles. And once we've got those, we are good to go. We're going to throw that in isometric mode. And we're going to hit, we're going to get out of our tools. So hit escape, escape, escape. And we are going to right click and we're going to say turn off section view. And when you do, it's going to turn your key back on. And now we're going to extrude. But when we extrude, we're going to have to select our rectangles. Okay, so Shift E, and then we're going to slide in here, and it looks like it already selected them for me, which is nice. If not, you can slide in and select those rectangles. And we don't want to add material, we want to remove material. And it tries to remove it the wrong way, so I'm going to click that button, and we want this to go through all so that it comes all the way out the end of our key. That looks good. Once you've got that, hit that green check box, and you can hide plane 1, throw it in isometric mode, and you have created the key. So right click on your tab down here, rename it, call it house key. Right click on part number 1, rename it, call it house key, and you've got your key. And the neat thing is everybody's keys will look different. You can put 1 slot down there at the bottom. You could put 2. You can have 10 teeth. You can have just a few teeth. You could have this thing looking like, a crocodile if you wanted to. Okay, however you want to build it. So there you go. That is the house key.